Hello and a very warm welcome to Midday Prime. Over the next 1 hour, we'll bring you all the stories and updates from India and the world. We will update you about the happenings in the world of business and sports, and we'll get you some interesting stories that are making headlines. But first up, the big news at this hour. In fact, there's news also that's come in that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has tweeted. He's recognized how India is effectively combating COVID-19, saying that the way India is handling it is a morale boost for all those who are at the forefront of fighting novel coronavirus. You would remember that Prime Minister yesterday led a regional effort of all the SAARC nations, ensuring that they all come together in the form of a video conferencing so as to be able to chalk out a common strategy. Prime Minister also proposed a mechanism to be able to deal with this, which would be regional in nature, and he had also proposed that there should be a fund, and India had also pledged an initial amount to that. We'll tell you about all that and Prime Minister's latest tweets. Let's get started with the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says recognition of India's effective combating of COVID-19 is a morale boost for all those at the forefront of fighting coronavirus. Tweeting on this, PM says the nation will cherish the contribution of healthcare workers. Number of confirmed coronavirus cases in India rise to 110. Maharashtra reports the highest number of cases, followed by Kerala. 13 people have recovered and have been discharged so far. Coronavirus impacts share markets. Nifty and Sensex show downfall after US Federal Reserve cuts rates to zero to boost economy adversely affected by coronavirus shutdowns. Government continues to extend help to Indians abroad. Fourth batch of 53 Indians arrives from Iran. With this, a total number of 1,497 Indians, including 389 from Iran, have returned to India. Number of global deaths for coronavirus crosses the 6,000 mark. Italy, Spain and France record heavy death tolls. Many countries across the world resort to lockdowns, entry bans to foreigners and emergency measures. And BJP approaches the Supreme Court seeking immediate floor test in Madhya Pradesh Assembly after Speaker adjourns the House up to the 26th of March. Assembly witnesses ruckus after the Governor's address. At our focus this afternoon, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has taken to Twitter to highlight the importance of community participation in fighting novel coronavirus. PM said that many people are highlighting different aspects of how India is combating COVID-19. He added, this is certainly going to boost the morale of all those doctors, nurses, municipal workers, airport staff and all other remarkable people at the forefront of fighting COVID-19. Hashtag India Fights Corona. Later in a series of tweets, PM stressed that coordinated efforts of different agencies have been made in this crucial phase. He said at all levels, various authorities are working in sync to ensure COVID-19 does not spread. No stone is being left unturned to ensure people are healthy. Responsible citizens can add great strength to the fight against COVID-19. I'm sure our citizens will not do anything that puts the lives of others in danger. Our doctors, nurses, healthcare workers are putting great efforts. They are out there helping people, doing our best to ensure everyone is healthy and those showing symptoms get proper care. It is a united and coordinated response from everyone. This shows the strong spirit of our nation in such situations. Avoiding non-essential travel and minimizing social outings are welcome steps. So these are a series of tweets by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But in the face of coronavirus, the most important thing is to remember these 4 points, and that is avoid panic, slow down, keep distance, wash well. The number of novel coronavirus cases in the country have risen to 110, with Maharashtra being the worst hit, recording 32 confirmed cases. The number of cases includes 2 persons who died in Delhi and Karnataka. According to the ministry's data, 13 people have been discharged so far, including the 3 Kerala patients. Confirmed cases across the states include 1 case reported in Andhra Pradesh, while 7 cases of coronavirus reported in Delhi. In Karnataka, 6 cases have been reported, while 22 cases were reported in Kerala. In Maharashtra, the highest 32 cases have been reported, while in Rajasthan only 2 cases have been reported so far. 1 confirmed case of coronavirus has been reported from Tamil Nadu, while Telangana has reported 3 cases. Union Territories of Jammu has reported 2 cases, while Ladakh has reported 3 cases. 12 cases of coronavirus have been reported from Uttar Pradesh, while in Uttarakhand only 1 case of coronavirus has been reported so far. Meanwhile, a meeting of a group of union ministers on coronavirus was held today at Nirman Bhavan. Remember, the government is working on a war footing to tackle coronavirus with regard to preparedness as well as response. And yet another meeting of the GOM taking place this morning at Nirman Bhavan. The government is at the forefront of this fight against novel coronavirus, and the civil society also is very much a part of this. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal today took review meetings with all district authorities on containment measures against the spread of COVID-19. Deputy Chief Minister, Health Minister, Chief Secretary and Health Secretary also joined from Delhi Secretariat. Delhi Chief Minister said it has been decided that all gyms, nightclubs and spas will be closed till the 31st of March. He added that any gathering with more than 50 persons, excluding weddings, will not be allowed. Kejriwal has appealed if weddings can be postponed during this time.
कॉलेजेस, आंगनवाड़ीज और स्विमिंग पूल्स को 31 मार्च तक बंद करने के ऑर्डर दे चुके हैं। आज ये निर्णय लिया गया कि जिम, नाइट क्लब्स, स्पाज इनको भी 31 मार्च तक बंद करने के ऑर्डर्स दिए जा रहे हैं। और दूसरी जो भी गैदरिंग्स हैं, अदर गैदरिंग्स, 50 से ज़्यादा गैदरिंग्स, चाहे रिलीजियस, सोशल, फैमिली, पॉलिटिकल, कल्चरल, ऐसे कोई भी गैदरिंग अलाउ नहीं की जाएगी 50 से ज़्यादा। अभी इसमें शादी को एक्सक्लूड किया गया है, लेकिन हमारी अपील है सबसे कि अगर हो सके तो शादी की डेट्स को पोस्टपोन कर दें।
The Delhi government has also decided that all buses and taxis will be sanitized at all the DTC bus depots free of cost. Kejriwal has also directed the authorities to install portable hand wash stations in various parts of Delhi.
सभी MCD कमिश्नर्स को और सभी SDMs को ये आदेश दिए गए हैं कि बड़े स्तर के ऊपर जगह जगह पब्लिक प्लेसेस में साबुन और पानी का इंतज़ाम, मोबाइल एक तरह से वॉश बेसिन्स का इंतज़ाम किया जाए जगह जगह पब्लिकली, ताकि लोग ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा समय समय पे अपने साबुन से हाथ धो सकें। उसी तरह से हैंड सैनिटाइजर्स जहाँ जहाँ, जैसे मान लीजिए किसी बिल्डिंग है, सिक्योरिटी गार्ड है, तो सिक्योरिटी गार्ड के ऊपर पास हैंड सैनिटाइजर्स रख देंगे। इस तरह से जहाँ जहाँ ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जगहों पे पब्लिक प्लेसेस पे हैंड सैनिटाइजर्स रखे जा सकते हैं, वहाँ पे हैंड सैनिटाइजर्स रखे जाएंगे।
Maharashtra is the worst hit state, recording 32 confirmed cases. In view of this, State Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray and Health Minister Rajesh Tope, along with the Chief Secretary, today held a review meeting with district magistrates via video conferencing. So that's about the meeting that had taken place as far as Maharashtra is concerned. Now let's take a look at how various cases are being treated as far as India is concerned, and several people have also been cured. Here are the data and statistics right behind me. Combating novel coronavirus, 13 have recovered and have been discharged so far. So the focus should also be on how treatment is taking place and people are being cured and they are being discharged from hospitals. 52 testing sites have already been established in India. So testing the facilities are there in adequate numbers. In India, there are 52 of them. There are 57 labs for health and sample collection that have been formed so far. So there are 57 labs and there is an NIV as well in Pune, where the final testing is taking place of the samples. Over 12 lakh passengers have been screened at airports. So the government is really pulling out all stops to ensure that novel coronavirus is tackled. New national helpline numbers have been announced, and here they are: 1075 and 1800-112-545. So if you have any symptoms, you can call on this helpline asking for any support or technical assistance. This is in addition to the state helpline numbers which are already there. If you need this information, you can go to the Health Ministry's official Twitter handle or Dr. Harshvardhan's official Twitter handle. You can follow PIB, which is Press Information Bureau, which is the government's website, for all the authentic information with regard to how to fight novel coronavirus. Suspect cases have been quarantined. Indian evacuees from Milan in Italy and Iran have been quarantined, and this is an ongoing exercise. This is the most recent insofar as various evacuations that India has carried out is concerned. 211 students and 7 others have been evacuated from Milan, and they've been quarantined as well. So this was one of the recent evacuation operations that India undertook. Passengers have been quarantined at ITBP camp in Chawla in Delhi. This is about those who have been brought in from Italy. Besides that, there are others who have been brought in from Iran as well in various batches. A fresh batch of 53 evacuees from Iran has been quarantined. We'll tell you where they've been quarantined, but this is a fresh batch, and before this there are 3 batches that were evacuated of Indians from Iran and quarantined here. The fresh batch is quarantined at the Army Wellness Center in Jaisalmer in Rajasthan, where all the facilities are in place. Our correspondent Vishal Baristo has been covering the quarantine facilities in Rajasthan. We'll tell you about that as well. Earlier, a third batch of 236 evacuees have arrived from Iran. They've been evacuated as well. So this was the third batch. After that, there's a fresh batch also that has come in. So 236 plus 53, that's the number of people who've been evacuated from Iran by India. And the third batch too has been quarantined at an army facility in Jaisalmer. So this is about how suspect cases are being quarantined, and there are several quarantine facilities in India. There's one in Manesar, which is managed by the Armed Forces Medical Services, also known as FMS. Besides that, there are other facilities as well. For example, there's an ITBP Chawla camp at Delhi, where a quarantine facility is there, and ITBP is manning that. And there are many across the country as well. We'll tell you about that next. There's a Safdarjung Hospital in Delhi where there are isolation wards, and the quarantine facility is there, and a patient has also been treated and recovered from who was admitted really at this place. Besides that, there are quarantine facilities that are dotting the entire country in Jaisalmer, in Gorakhpur, in Jodhpur, Jhansi, Devlali, Chennai, Suratgarh, Trivandrum, Mumbai, Kolkata, Bengaluru and Hyderabad. So all in all, there's really no dearth of quarantine facilities in India. There are quarantine facilities not just in Delhi but across the country, across states. Besides that, these are some of the facts and myth busters relating to novel coronavirus. Don't chase the sanitizer, as soap and water wash is highly effective. So go for a 20-second soap and water wash, and don't chase the sanitizer. We know that there could be a possibility that one may not get alcohol-based sanitizers at this point in time. So don't worry about that. Just go in for a simple soap and hand wash of 20 seconds. This can be transmitted in areas with hot and humid climates. So there is no research that says that this cannot be transmitted in hot and humid climates. This can indeed be transmitted in such climates as well. So there's no research negating that. So don't believe if people are telling you that once the temperatures change or they rise, then things would be better. Cold weather and snow can't kill the virus either. So as far as temperatures are concerned, there is really no conclusive study as of now. Besides that, taking a hot bath cannot prevent the virus. So if you think that you can take a hot bath and you can hope to prevent the virus, that is not going to be the case. There is no conclusive evidence of that either. Cannot be transmitted through mosquito bites. So this is not a disease which is vector borne or a disease which is spread through mosquitoes. So this cannot be transmitted through mosquito bites. Spraying alcohol or chlorine all over you won't kill the virus either. So there are myths that alcohol or chlorine can actually help you get rid of this, but that is really not the case. Vaccines against pneumonia don't protect against the virus either. So if you think that you can use a vaccine against pneumonia to protect against novel coronavirus, then that's not going to be. Besides that, there are other facts and mythbusters as well. Regularly rinsing your nose with saline, in fact, can't prevent infection. What it can do is it can provide you some relief from common cold symptoms, but it can't cure you. It cannot prevent the infection either. People of all ages can be infected, so it is not that youngsters alone can be infected or people who are elderly alone can be infected. People of all ages are vulnerable in that sense. Antibiotics don't work against viruses, they work only against bacteria, so using antibiotics and hoping that that will treat novel coronavirus also does not work. To date, no specific medicine to prevent or treat it. So to date, there is really no specific medicine to prevent or treat novel coronavirus. Research is on globally on this, and so far there is neither any vaccine nor any medicine, but yes, there is a combination of medicines that is being used, and that is also showing results. Well, our correspondents are joining us now. Nitendra is joining us from Delhi and Vishal is joining us from Rajasthan. Well, Nitendra, I'll come to you first on what really transpired in the GOM meeting. We know that the government is working on a war footing as far as preparedness and response of novel coronavirus is concerned, but as far as GOM is concerned, what was really decided there?
जीओएम की बैठक अब से 1 घंटे पहले खत्म हो गई और तकरीबन 1 घंटे तक चली है जीओएम की मीटिंग, जिसमें जितने भी मंत्री थे वो शरीक हुए थे। खासतौर पे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर एस जयशंकर, हेल्थ मिनिस्टर उसको चेयर कर रहे थे, एमओएस होम भी थे, इसके अलावा सीडीएस जनरल बिपिन रावत भी मौजूद थे। और तकरीबन 1 घंटे की मीटिंग में इस बात को लेकर के चर्चा हुई कि जो अब तक कदम उठाए गए थे और आने वाली जो चैलेंजेस है उसके बारे में क्या स्टेप उठाने हैं। और उसके बाद अभी तक आधिकारिक बयान नहीं आया है। शाम 5:30 बजे एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस हो रहा है नेशनल मीडिया सेंटर में, जो तमाम जो कदम उठाए गए हैं जीओएम की तरफ से उसके बारे में विस्तार से बताया जाएगा और जो भी क्वेश्चंस होंगे पत्रकारों के उसका जवाब दिया जाएगा। लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात है कि जो जनरल बिपिन रावत ने एक संकेत दिया कि जो गैदरिंग हो रही है उसको लेकर के जरूर खासतौर पर इसमें चर्चा हुई। उन्होंने पत्रकारों को भी इशारा किया कि जो आप लोग इतने इकट्ठे हैं इसको भी बंद करने की बात हुई है। तो आने वाले जो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस है उसमें काफी डिटेल्स पता चलेगा। सबसे जो इम्पोर्टेंट है सरकार की एक कोशिश है, क्योंकि स्टेज 3 में अभी नहीं पहुंचा है। हमारे यहाँ इंडिया में एक तरह से सोसाइटी में स्प्रेड नहीं किया है, ये उन लोगों तक आया है जो इन्फेक्टेड कंट्री से आए हुए हैं, उनके और उनके परिवार तक ही फैला हुआ। सरकार की कोशिश है कि ये सोसाइटी में न जाए, इसके लिए तमाम कदम उठाए जा रहे हैं। अच्छी बात मुनमुन ये भी है कि जो 110 लोग हैं उनमें से 13 लोग बिल्कुल क्योर्ड हो गए हैं, ठीक हो गए हैं और अस्पताल से उनको छुट्टी मिल गई है। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी बात है। और आने वाले दिनों में जैसा कि हमें संकेत में बताया जा रहा है कि 13-14 और लोग हैं जो एक तरह से ठीक हो चुके हैं और 1-2 दिन में उनको अस्पताल से छुट्टी मिल जाएगी। तो ये एक बहुत राहत की बात है। सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है लोगों को, क्योंकि जो फॉरेन से आ रहे हैं, जो प्रभावित देश से आ रहे हैं, वो अपने घर में क्वारंटाइन रहे।
Self-quarantine for 14 days forward, but for now let's go over to the person who was treated and has recovered and has been discharged from hospital as well. Well, welcome to Midday Prime. We won't disclose your identity at this point in time, but we wanted to ask you first on when did you feel that you are showing symptoms of novel coronavirus and what did you do after that?
Thank you, ma'am, and I'm grateful to the nation. They prayed for me and everybody. I felt the first symptom, and actually it was just fever, 99.5 fever, and I did not think that it was corona, although I went to the doctor right away the very first morning. He diagnosed it as it is a little sore throat and you have some antibiotics for a couple of days. So, but anyhow, the fever did not go for 2 nights, and the 3rd day I again went to the doctor, requested him that please refer me to Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital, which was the only center then where we could have get checked. Went there, filled up a form, and in the form it is you to mention if you have any symptoms. So I clicked on the fever symptom. And they admitted me then and there, and they requested me that you have to stay here because you have clicked on the symptom. So the next night they were able to understand that I was positive, and I was shifted from Ram Manohar Lohia to Safdarjung Hospital.
Okay. And after you tested positive, did a team of doctors come to your house and also collect samples from your family members and those that could have come
They
in
did
contact
that
with you?
immediately. Actually, I also was not knowing that I'm positive, but on the, ma'am, see, the preparedness you to understand, they immediately went to my home, understood, and the next morning they were with the entire team was there with the kids and all, and they checked my members and the other people I had met in last 3 days, where like I had, when I had come from Europe, so I was here in my home and met around 7, 8 people and some people from my office. So they quarantined everybody, checked, took samples. Wherever they felt fishy, they took them to the hospital. And excellent work, ma'am, excellent. The preparedness was excellent.
Absolutely.
But nobody tested positive. Everybody came out negative, which is a good thing for me.
You were at an isolation ward at one of the hospitals. Tell us about your experience there.
See, ma'am,
And were you allowed to,
what
for instance,
I understand, ma'am, see, 2 words are really people are getting scared of is quarantine and isolation, ma'am. See, each and every, even literate and illiterate people, both are very, I want to just tell, ma'am, it is a first class, it is a private ward, better than a private ward facility in any good hospital. Safdarjung, I'm talking, I know only Safdarjung. I've stayed there 14 nights, ma'am. Exceptionally good, clean room, hygienic, everything is being taken care of from the government. The vitals, ma'am, the hospital is state of the art. Everything is good, ma'am. It is not like a prison, ma'am. It is, you have a big window, you can watch outside. But we need to understand, ma'am, that even in any case, we have to stay in the hospital for any reason, ma'am. You are honestly secluded from the family. Like, even if you have a heart ailment, only people can meet you 1 hour a day, ma'am. Here you cannot meet anybody, only the hospital staff, because it is highly contagious, it gets transferred very fast, so people have to cover themselves. Even at one floor, if they have met me and they have to go to the other floor, they have to change their clothes, ma'am.
absolutely.
So it is just that, ma'am, the isolation word and this quarantine word, I think some better word should be given so that people are not scared.
Right.
I feel a lot of people are coming out because of these words, ma'am.
Fair
And
enough.
the sooner anybody goes to the doctor, the sooner he'll be back, ma'am.
You're trying to calm frayed nerves by saying that don't be afraid of the word quarantine or isolation, because
Yes, ma'am.
facilities provided there are really state-of-the-art in a sense, and staff is also working 24/7.
See, ma'am,
You're not
see-
being made to feel isolated. But what would you say to those who are really stressed about novel coronavirus? Because you've been treated, you've been cured, you've been discharged. So what would you say to those who are stressed over the outbreak?
Ma'am, I would say, see, there are 2 positive things, ma'am. One, our nation is a young nation, ma'am. A lot of us people, majority of the public either does yoga or some kind of exercises. We are a fitter nation, ma'am. You see, ma'am, it is curable. It is just like cough and cold. And anybody, ma'am, you see the mortality rates also. It is very, very less, ma'am, and it happens to people whose immunity is not fine. For example, somebody is going through a chemo for cancer and he suffers that, or he or she suffers that, so problems are going to be there. But for fitter people, normal ailments like high blood pressure or whatever, it is safe, ma'am. That is what I have read in last 14 days, and that is what doctors have comforted with me with, ma'am.
Right. And you're now in home quarantine for 14
Yes, ma'am.
days. Would you
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
our viewers how important it is to be home quarantined or to be self-quarantined for 14 days even after discharge from hospitals?
Ma'am, see, whatever today we all do is for our families and the people around us. This is for this home quarantine. Although today I am virus free, that is why I have been discharged, ma'am. But it is a guideline which one has to follow for his family, his near ones, his dear ones, ma'am. It is only for the humanity, ma'am. And I think another 14 days in anybody's life doesn't matter at all, ma'am. You can introspect, you can read, you can do whatever you want to do. It is your time, ma'am.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us on DD India and DD News and sharing your experience at an isolation ward and how the doctors and the staff really approached you there, and even earlier after you were tested positive, how they'd come to your home and tested your family members as well. They were all proven negative after tests, and you're telling us that perhaps a better idea would be to replace this word isolation or quarantine with something else, and you're telling us that the facilities there are really state of the art and there's really nothing to worry with the words isolation or quarantine. Well, thank you for speaking to us. And now let's go back to our correspondents who've been with us. Nitendra continues to be with us from Delhi, and Vishal Baristo is with us from Jaisalmer. Vishal, I'll come to you now on the facilities that are there really for patients who are quarantined there in Rajasthan. We heard from one of the patients in Delhi who said that they're state of the art. What do you see there?
Well, Munmoon, very good afternoon to you. Let me tell you that it's an excellent facility. I have myself visited there at the military station, which is also the largest military station of India. And it's a state-of-the-art wellness center that has been raised, thankfully, by the Indian Army. And 289 people have already been put there. It's a quarantine facility. And let me also tell you that a namaz is also being organized for them today. By 3 p.m., we would be showing our viewers the visuals of the namaz. So it's an excellent facility over there, and 53 passengers, if that includes 52 students and 1 teacher. They have also arrived from 2 places from Iran. An Air India flight landed in Jaisalmer yesterday. It was 2:36. Along with the quarantine facility, it is not that you are in prison, let me tell you, as was hearing the gentleman, but here you have the outdoor games facility by the Indian Army. If you want to play badminton, you can go for badminton. If you want to play chess, carom, watch TV, read books, you have plenty of quality time. And then you have separate facility for males, females, and if you are a family, because these people have been traveling along, then you can also be put together. The food is absolutely vegetarian according to the medical guidelines, and it's a very good facility there. And because they requested that they want to offer namaz, Indian Army is also organizing namaz facility for them at the wellness center. Now coming back to Jaipur, 3 people have been declared negative who were positive at being treated at the quarantine facility at the Savai Man Singh Hospital, and the principal of the Savai Man Singh Hospital, Mr. Bhandari, Dr. Bhandari, claims that now they are negative, and this includes the Italian couple and also one gentleman who had traveled back from Dubai. So this is the good news coming from Jaipur. One youngster who is 24 years of age and who had traveled to Madrid in Spain, he continues to be positive, but also he is being treated. The doctors are saying that you need not be scared of anything. All that you have to do is take all the precautionary measures, because prevention is better than cure. Munmun?
Absolutely, Vishal. One last word I'll take from you, Nitendra, on the importance of home quarantine for 14 days. We heard the patient from Delhi who's cured also saying that it is important to do that because you need to take care of your family, you need to take care of society at large. You need not just focus on your own health and forget about home quarantine, even if you've been discharged and you've tested negative finally. So the importance on that.
बड़ी बात यह है कि सरकार ने जो इंतजाम किए हैं वो कितना बेहतरीन है, इस बात का जिक्र वो कर रहे थे कि बहुत ही अत्याधुनिक सुविधाओं से लैस है सफदरजंग का जो क्वारंटाइन वार्ड है, उसको उन्होंने बिल्कुल तारीफ की। सबसे अहम बात उन्होंने ये बताया कि जब भी कोई विदेश से आ रहा है तो जरूर वो घर के अंदर क्वारंटाइन रहे। अगर कुछ दिनों बाद 14 दिन का एक पीरियड होता है, इंक्यूबेशन पीरियड, उस तक कोई सिम्टम आता है तो जो हेल्पलाइन है हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री का, उस पर संपर्क करें। और एक कल हेल्पलाइन शुरू की गई है एम्स में, जो उसकी में जो जवाब देगा वो डॉक्टर्स जवाब देंगे। तो आप अगर संपर्क करते हैं तो हेल्थ के जो स्वास्थ्य कर्मी है वो आपके घर पे आके सैंपल लेंगे या फिर जो आगे की जो प्रक्रिया वो आपको बताएंगे। तो कहीं भी आप अपने परिवार के साथ न जाएं, कहीं भी आप एक तरह से सोसाइटी में पार्टी ना करें, किसी के साथ इतना इन्वॉल्व ना हो ताकि उन पे स्वास्थ्य पे रिस्क हो, आपका संक्रमण उन तक जा सकता है। ये सबसे बड़ी बात है। और जो प्रोटोकॉल स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय की तरफ से बताए जा रहे हैं, चाहे वो जब विदेश से आप आ रहे हैं तब या फिर जब आपके ट्रीटमेंट हो गया और उसके बाद जब आप घर आ रहे हैं तब, उसका पालन करें। अगर इतना पालन करेंगे और लोग जागरूक अवेयर रहेंगे तो निश्चित तौर पे इसको हम रोकने में कामयाब होंगे।
Well, thank you, Nitendra and Vishal, for having joined us with those inputs on Midday Prime. And now our two guests are joining us to discuss preparedness and response and also what the civil society at large needs to do at this time of outbreak of COVID-19. Joining us are Dr. Sudhir Kumar Jain, who is Additional Director with National Centre for Disease Control, and Professor Naresh Gupta, Medical Consultant with the Maulana Azad Medical College. I welcome you both. I'll begin with you, Professor Gupta. We know that 13 people have been treated or they've been recovered and discharged. How important is it to spread word that people are getting recovered, they are getting discharged, they are testing negative, and that this is really not the end of the world, because there's a psychological pressure really that is building to an extent in civil society? How important is it to spread the word on this to ensure that there is no panic?
This is very important, because one aspect of coronavirus that is gripping the society is the fear and panic, and that is out of uncertainty. They feel whether I am going to catch it, and if I catch it, am I going to survive? So this is very important. Out of all these 110, I pray that all of them would recover, and statistically most of them would recover. So one is, there should be no fear or panic. The idea that we have, the idea that ministry is speaking about, that medical fraternity is speaking about, is that it should not spread like fire in the community. Right now we have cases coming from outside. If it spreads in the community, then the numbers would be so large that it would be very difficult to manage, and this is being contained in a very good manner. Only the citizens have to realize that letting it go into the community is their responsibility, much more of their responsibility than anybody else. Anybody who comes from outside, anybody who has been exposed outside to areas where there is coronavirus, or in the family or in the healthcare facilities, should refrain from 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks, the so-called quarantine. And remember, even if they are asymptomatic, even if they have no symptoms, they should still restrain themselves, because asymptomatic individuals also can spread coronavirus if they have been exposed to that environment where coronavirus was there. So I think both the things are important. We have to reassure them that they are likely to recover, but we don't want it to become a big national problem, and hence they should contribute to the prevention by quarantining or restraining themselves from going into places where it can be caught by others, young or elderly.
Right, Dr. Jain, we are seeing a multi-agency collective effort being mounted by the Government of India in this hour of crisis. How is the NCDC working on surveillance and contact tracing?
Yes, surveillance is one of the important pillar of control activities. We are putting under surveillance all the contacts, close contacts and community contacts of any patient who is diagnosed positive. And in this, all the state government and local governments are helping us, and all the contacts are put under surveillance, and if they develop any symptom, etc., they are immediately told to contact the nearest health facility. These close contacts are sometimes isolated also, and isolation does not mean, as has been told by our one of the patient who has recovered, that it is not a jail. It is a very good facility where they have to remain away from your family members and other near and dear ones, and it will help their family members also, that it will protect them. Otherwise, those who are near to them are the most at the most risk, and they can easily get the disease. So that is one aspect, that we are maintaining close vigil on all the contacts of the positive cases. And then in the community also, we have district surveillance unit in all the districts of the country, where we have our trained manpower who are daily collecting the data of people who are likely to be have symptoms of SARI, severe acute respiratory infection, and those people are especially monitored, that if they develop any coronavirus type of disease, so immediately we get the information, and corrective measures are taken by the government.
Professor Gupta, are those with underlying conditions or diseases like diabetes, hypertension or other illnesses are at a greater risk of contracting this?
Yes, I think everybody is at risk. All adults and elderly are at risk. But what happens is, when these are elderly, 60 years plus or 80 years plus, by then they have accumulated many diseases. It could be heart disease, it could be high blood pressure, it could be diabetes, and of course their immunity is low. So those that segment of the population is likely to suffer in a bigger way from the coronavirus, because coronavirus goes and attaches at three large places. One is the lungs, so it goes into the lungs. It can also go into the kidney or into the gut. So once they get into the lungs, remember, a person who has been smoking all through his life and has got a lung disease is likely to do much worse. So also the cases with the other ones. So elderly would do bad, but what has been realized is that 3 out of the 4 elderly actually have comorbid conditions. And it also is seen that they may not eventually die of the pneumonia alone. A heart disease patient might die of a heart attack. That also gets precipitated if there is an infection. So corona has got a very large spectrum of diseases, and it shows up much more severely in persons who are elderly, and especially the elderly who are not healthy, who are harboring comorbid conditions. Which brings us to the fact that everybody should try to stay healthy, and if they have a disease, they should keep it under control. Diabetes should be controlled, blood pressure should be controlled, hypertension should be controlled, and the lifestyle modifications that have been talked about time and again would also go a long way in the body fighting the coronavirus successfully.
Dr. Jain, there are new national helpline numbers that have been announced. The earlier one will be used on the back end. When should a person call a helpline?
Yeah, any person who is having any query about this coronavirus disease, they should contact us. If somebody is coming from outside, we are getting a lot of international call, so people are encouraged to get the information before coming to India if they are departing from some foreign country, or anybody going outside, they should also consult, because though we are advising that we should avoid unnecessary travel, but if travel is very much essential, they should contact the helpline. And anybody in the community who has developed any symptom and who thinks that he may be suffering from some disease, coronavirus disease, he should immediately contact, so that we can properly direct that person what he is supposed to do next. And any other query, if people are panic, then it will create more panic, and it will not help in controlling the disease. So any query of anybody, they should immediately contact our helpline, and they will get the answer.
Professor Gupta, any do's and don'ts that you would like to emphasize at this point in time to stay safe?
I think one of the biggest things that we can do is bring a lifestyle change. You know, everybody reads in the newspapers, hears on the media and other channels what is to be done. It is a droplet kind of infection, like what happens in the case of a flu, influenza, common cold. So you should have good habits. That means don't cough or sneeze into somebody's face. These are very simple things. And also, even if you're not sneezing, even if you're talking, this is likely to spread. So get into good habits. And the bad habits that we see all over the place is coughing and spitting. Please get rid of it. It will not only save us from coronavirus, but 100 other viruses and dozens of bacteria. It will make us much more healthy place. Then the second thing is, it can also spread by these fomites where virus could be lying there. Keeping good hygiene. We hear of washing hands, which has been such a good tradition all along. Soap and water is so easily available. It will save us not only from coronavirus, but many other viruses, bacteria and microbes. At the same time, also use this as a good opportunity to add to your own immunity by getting into good diet, balanced, nutritious diet, and a healthy lifestyle with walking, yoga, running, whatever you want to do. And finally, remember, every cold that occurs is not from coronavirus. It's a very small number that we have seen. In our community, it is not there. But there are several diseases for which there are preventions available. Influenza, we have a vaccine. Now, I was just hearing it, pneumonia, there is a vaccine, is not the correct statement actually, because pneumonia is a condition. But pneumonia can be caused by coronavirus, influenza, and there is a bacteria which is called pneumococcus. So the vaccine is available against pneumococcus, which causes pneumonia and other diseases. So there are several vaccines that are available, whether it's pneumococcus or influenza or Haemophilus. So those things could be also taken care of. Finally, don't get into bad habits. If somebody keeps smoking, they're going to have bad lung. If somebody keeps drinking, they're going to have bad liver, which is the detoxifying organ of the body. So I think get into good habits so that you save yourself not only from corona, but in future from anything else that can bombard us.
Well, thank you, Dr. Gupta and Professor Jain, for having joined us on Midday Prime. Well, let's move on now to some international news. Globally, over 1,62,000 people are infected from coronavirus and over 6,000 have died. Over 100 million people in Europe are living under lockdown to try to curb coronavirus pandemic, as Italy's death toll has risen by 368 in just 24 hours. A total of 2,297 coronavirus-related deaths have now been recorded in Europe, most of them in the continent's worst-hit country, Italy. Italy has registered almost 25,000 cases less than a month since it announced its first coronavirus case, and 1,809 people have died there. In Spain, the number of people infected with coronavirus increased by a third to 7,753, and 288 deaths have been recorded till now. The latest spike in Europe's second most affected country after Italy comes after the Spanish government imposed a near total nationwide lockdown, banning people from leaving home except to go to work, get medical care or buy food. The wife of Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is among those who've tested positive for the novel coronavirus. The measures were introduced as part of a 15-day state of emergency. France recorded 29 additional coronavirus deaths on Sunday, the biggest one-day increase in the country since the outbreak, bringing the total death toll to 120. Around 900 more infections were recorded in the past 24 hours, taking the total to 5,400 since January. U.S. Vice President Mike Pence promised that Americans would have access in the days ahead to over 2,000 laboratories capable of processing coronavirus tests. Speaking to reporters at the White House, Pence also said that he and President Donald Trump would brief U.S. state governors today on the widening testing amid a fast-escalating global health crisis. With limited testing available, U.S. has recorded nearly 3,000 coronavirus cases and 65 deaths. South Korea too has reported 74 new coronavirus infections today, slightly lower than a day ago. 303 more patients had fully recovered and released from care, taking the total number of those discharged to 1,137. Considering the severity in European countries, South Korea has expanded special entry procedures to arrivals from all European countries. Meanwhile, China has said that it expects the impact from the coronavirus outbreak on the economy to decrease in the second quarter. China's economy has suffered a heavy blow as the epidemic has paralyzed activity, with industrial output contracting at the fastest pace in 30 years and fixed asset investment falling for the first time on record. China's nationwide survey-based jobless rate rose to 6.2% in February, compared with 5.2% in December. So now we are seeing that new cases in China are on the decline. In Europe has emerged as the new epicenter, but the countries are pulling out all stops. Various travel restrictions have been imposed. Mass gatherings have been restricted as well in many places. Weddings, etc. have been restricted too, in order to ensure that the spread of novel coronavirus is restricted to the minimum. And there are a few countries that are worst affected that are already in a lockdown, and India, we know, is one of the countries which acted really very early, and there was prevention from the word go, and now there are only 100 odd cases that are there in India compared to various other countries. Well, we know that the global death toll is well past the 6,000 mark. As far as the United States is concerned, it has already declared a national emergency, and besides that, there's much more happening in the world of business as well. In Midday Prime, it's time for news and updates from the world of business. And now it's over to Nancy for that.
Thanks, Munmun. Yes, all the business news. In fact, let's begin with how the markets are doing. Well, both the Sensex and the Nifty are trading down by 6 to 7%. In fact, in the mid-session, Sensex has plunged over 2,400 points and the Nifty gave up the 9,273 level amid concerns over the impact of COVID-19 on the global economy. The rupee has also depreciated 41 paise to 74.16 against the US dollar. Let's go across now to our correspondent Arun Sharma, who is joining us with more inputs on that. Arun, the markets there continue to take the beating amid the coronavirus scare and the outbreak across the world.
Well, that's right. The markets as of now are bleeding, and the first trading session of the week, it didn't start on a very well note. We know this fact that on Friday the markets started the trading session on a very weak note. However, they recovered during the last trading hours, and we saw fantastic buying coming in on Friday. But now on Monday, I mean, a couple of developments have taken place, and that's the reason why the markets are feeling pressure as of now. Number one, the U.S. Federal Reserve as of now, I mean, we see this fact that U.S. Federal Reserve has slashed the interest rate over there at 0%. That means between 0 and 0.25%. And U.S. Federal Reserve clearly believes this fact that the economy might take a hit because of coronavirus. And to support the demand in U.S., the U.S. Federal Reserve has taken this move to slash the interest rate to 0%. And now in India, today at around 4 p.m., the Reserve Bank of India, that means the Central Bank of India, is holding a press conference, and the governor of RBI will be making a press announcement over there. It is very much expected the Reserve Bank of India is likely to take some measures which will pump in liquidity into the market, number one. They are also likely to cut, or they might change the interest rate also. This is very much likelihood going forward when Reserve Bank of India comes with the press announcement and the press conference. There is not from the press, from the Reserve Bank of India side. But yes, ahead of that press conference, the stock markets are literally witnessing pressure, where Sensex and Nifty are down by close to 6 and 7%. That means Sensex has tumbled by close to 2,500 points. So that's an important development, and almost all the sectors as of now are trading in red. So it is expected that demand, I mean, there is a cascading impact on the markets, and that's the reason why the markets are witnessing pressure.
All right, Arun, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and putting all these developments into perspective for us. And like you're also sharing, as far as the RBI is concerned, in fact, the central bank's governor is likely to hold a media briefing this afternoon, and you're sharing with us what we can expect from that presser later on in the afternoon today. And like we were discussing, more background to this, while the US Fed Reserve has slashed interest rates by full percentage points to near zero and has announced drastic emergency measures to shore up confidence and keep the financial sector running from the coronavirus epidemic. The Fed made its second emergency rate cut in less than 2 weeks, cutting the benchmark borrowing rate to a range of 0 to 0.25%, where it was during the 2008 global financial crisis. It pledged to keep it there until it is confident that the economy has weathered recent events. In addition to that, the Fed joined forces with other major central banks to guarantee that the global financial system has enough cash to continue to operate. In another move, it removed the bank reserve requirements to allow them to use the cash backstops. Well, this is what the background that we are sharing with you as far as the markets are concerned. While markets continue to take the beating, both the Sensex and the Nifty trading down by 6 to 7%. And as far as, in fact, the afternoon trade is concerned, the Sensex tagged around 2,400 points, and as far as the US Fed slash is also concerned, the US Fed Reserve has slashed interest rates by a full percentage points to near zero, also announcing drastic emergency measures to shore up confidence and keeping the financial sector running from the coronavirus pandemic. Remember, it's a global concern now, the coronavirus outbreak. In fact, many economists and experts, they're fearing as far as its impact on the global economy is concerned. So the central banks across the world taking as many measures as possible to make sure that the global economy can remain protected as much as possible. In fact, the Fed has been taking its second emergency rate cut in less than 2 weeks, cutting the benchmark borrowing rate to a range of 0 to 0.25%, where it was during the 2008 global financial crisis. and it has also in fact pledged to keep there until it is confident that the economy has weathered these recent events vis-a-vis the global pandemic as far as the coronavirus outbreak is concerned. Well, that's the big, in fact, developments coming in from the world of business. Munmun, well, remains to be seen what the RBI governor has to say when he addresses that presser for all of us. And of course, we'll be keeping close watch on that. That takes place late this afternoon. It's back to you, Munmun, for the rest of the news.
Well, thank you for that, Nancy. And now it's time for stories from the world of sports. And the COVID-19 pandemic has wreaked havoc world over, with the international sporting calendar going haywire, with many events, including Olympic qualifiers, being either postponed or cancelled. On the sidelines of this, Union Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju said that all sporting events in the country have been suspended temporarily amid the coronavirus threat.
Domestic, we have asked all the sporting events to be postponed. जो कॉम्पिटिटिव इवेंट्स हैं वहाँ जहाँ लोग ज़्यादातर लोग आते हैं और मैच देखने आते हैं, तो ऐसा सारा मैचेस को फिलहाल टाल दिया गया है और या उसको रीशेड्यूल किया गया है.
India's five-time world champion chess icon Vishwanathan Anand will complete his first commentary assignment while being in self-isolation in Germany. His return to India is on hold due to travel restrictions forced by the coronavirus pandemic. The 50-year-old was to return to Chennai on Monday after competing in the Bundesliga Chess League, but had to stay back near Frankfurt given the travel restrictions. Anand, who is set to don the commentator's hat for the FIDE Candidates tournament that begins in Yekaterinburg in Russia to spot the challenger to world champion Magnus Carlsen, will handle the role from his present location. The Italian Football Federation has called for the postponement of Euro 2020 to give time to complete the Serie A season, which has been suspended because of coronavirus. Federation President Gabriele Gravina says the idea will be put to UEFA at an emergency meeting on Tuesday. Serie A was suspended last Tuesday, with Italy, the European country worst affected by the virus. UEFA has invited representatives of its 55-member associations to Tuesday's video conference meeting, with Euro 2020 due to take place from 12th June to 12th July at venues across Europe. The boards of the European Club Association and the European leagues have also been invited, and discussions will cover all domestic and European competitions, including the possible postponement of Euro 2020 by 1 year. And with that, we come to the close of this edition of Midday Prime. News and updates will continue on DD India and DD News. Stay tuned.